Morgulis, here is a no name, and today I will bring you a Game of Thrones video that was originally posted on the Mikan channel on YouTube. So, if you know the Portuguese language, I strongly recommend that you see the original video. Now, sit on the throne of swords, take a piece of pie made by Arya Stark, be comfortable, be my guest, and come with me. The original video shows 5 characters that are dead in the series but alive in the books. It was posted in 2015 by Mikan on her YouTube channel. The first to appear is Barristan Selmy. The 4th episode of the 5th season ends with a bloody fight between Daenerys' allies against the Harpy Children, who are a rebel faction who are attacking the Daenerys armies in Meereen. In this struggle, unfortunately, Barristan Selmy died. Barristan Selmy, who was a soldier of the Royal Guard, then he went to serve Daenerys, and now he had that end in the series. But if you are going to read A Dance with Dragons, the 5th book of Ice and Fire Chronicles, Barristan is there, very lively, and he has his own chapter, so he still has a meaning. In books, because he will tell what happens in Meereen through his gaze. Including one of the unpublished chapters of The Winds of Winters, the 6th book. George R.R. Martin has already revealed that Barristan Selmy will be there. He is a character that Agent does not expect to die so early in the books. Now, Jojen Reed. Jojen Reed is one of the characters that accompanies Bran on the journey behind the wall, with his sister and Holder. But Jojen's death is one of the worst death produced in Game of Thrones. Which is at the very end of the 4th season, when they arrive at the hiding place of the three-eyed crow. There are skeletons coming off the floor, and the children of the forest throwing fire, and effects worthy of cheap movies. To this day, those skeletons sprouting from the ground were not well explained. They might even be zombies created by the White Walkers. However, all zombies created by others have the feature of owning blue eyes. The book even describes it as a blue as a distant star, thus being a feature of all of them. But these skeletons, they did not even have eyes. Mira is there, killing the skeletons, and from nothing, she looks to the side, and has a skeleton hand stabbing Jojen's belly. So, okay, Jojen died in the series, but in the books he's still alive, is that right? Kind of. We believe he is, but he may not be. Jojen had always been very sick. He had many weaknesses, convulsions. The closer they got to the three-eyed crow's hiding place, the more he will getting weaker. And in books that continues after they get there. He gets weaker, he wants to leave. There is a theory that the children of the forest killed Jojen, and gave him to Bran to eat, but it's a pretty insane theory. Showing now Talisa, or Jane Westerling. Talisa and Jane Westerling are the same person, the wife of Robb Stark, only one is in the books, and another is in the series. Talia would be named as Jane on the show, but the producers made so many changes that George R.R. Martin himself asked to change her name. Talisa Mager, who is the character in the series, is a battlefield nurse, who was born in Volantis. Meanwhile Jane Westerling is part of a noble family, very old, but poor, who is allied with the Lannisters. The producers found it rather complicated even to explain how Robb Stark had married an ally of the Lannisters. Talisa's death was one of the most dramatic in the Red Wedding, which was in the penultimate episode of season 3, and her death got even worse because she was pregnant, and stabbed her eye and the belly. But what if I told you that Jane Westerling is still alive in the books? To tell the truth, she did not even go to the Red Wedding. She stayed in Riverrun, waiting for Robb to return from her uncle's wedding, but it never happened. They thought her going to the wedding would be an affront to Lord Frey. It makes sense because Robb broke the marriage deal with the Frey, just because he decided to stay with Jane. After marriage, they discovered that Jane's mother planned with Tywin Lannister, but it seems, at least in the book, that Jane really loved Robb. At least Talisa, we know, that she really loved him, so probably the book too. For the moment, Jane, in the books, is alive and well, but there are people who think that Jane has run away, hid, and carries the heir of Robb Stark. This we do not know, it's just a theory. Mance Rayder. The premature death was that of Mance Rayder, the king beyond the wall. He died at the stake, and had a mercy shot of Jon, who threw an arrow so he did not die suffering burnt. But Mance did not die in the book. There's the scene of Mance's death, he's at the stake, and everything. But a few chapters later, he appears. It was all a trick of Melisandre. She used a spell to trade the looks of Mance Rayder with the Rattleshirt, which is another wild warrior, who appeared in the series very fast, the 2nd season, where he had a whole armor made of bones, but then he disappeared. In the books, after this exchange, Mance goes on a mission, and, until then, he is alive. This last one can be a spoiler for who has not read until the 3rd book. That would be Catelyn Stark, or, also now known as, Lady Stoneheart. Everyone saw Catelyn Stark dying in the Red Wedding, with a cut throat, but in the books, the story continues, but the series decided not to use this second part of the story. While in the series she died, in books she is revived. Well, Beric Dondarrion, the leader of the Brotherhood without banners, he revived because of the flame of the Lord of the Light that he received, and he revived how many times? When Caitlin died, they threw her body into the river, so the Beric Dondarrion found this corpse and decided to pass the flame of life to her, only she did not wake up like him, who revived shortly after taking the wounds in battle. The body she had already been in the river for 3 days, then the skin was already decomposed, all swollen and white. And she had not healed the cuts she'd had before her death, so she had her throat cut off, and one thing she does not have in the series but she has in the books, she runs her fingers through her cheeks, and she keeps the mark. Caitlin ceases to be Caitlin when she revives, and turns to Lady Stoneheart, since not only has her appearance changed but her mentality has changed as well. While Caitlin Stark was worried about her family, she knew how to make war strategy. Lady Stoneheart is very murderous. She wants to eliminate anyone associated with the Lannisters, Bolton and Frey houses, which are the houses that orchestrated the Red Wedding. She eventually became leader of the Brotherhood without banners, and their goal, which was to steal from the rich and give to the poor, eventually became to hunt the people associated with the houses related to the Red Wedding and hang. Well, these were the 5 deaths of the series, which remain alive in the books presented in the Mike and YouTube channel. I hope you have enjoyed it, and Belardo Harris.